Hello and welcome to a new series. This series is going to be all about map making tricks. These little things here are called comparators and they add unnecessary delay to your system. What I'll be showing you today is how to get rid of that delay, which means how to get rid of comparators. Another bad thing about comparators is that they output the success count of the command block as signal strength, which means you'll require redstone dust, and redstone dust is never good for command blocks. This command block contains this command, and this command is just going to test for every entity within loaded chunks. Since I'm the only entity in loaded chunks, it's only going to output 1. Let's say there's one more entity, now it's going to be 2. And if there is 15, it's going to be 15, but if there's 20, it's still going to be 15 because redstone can only carry a signal for 15 blocks. And that is the third bad thing about comparators. You have this limitation. Now I will show you how to get your success count without using a comparator. First thing you'll need is a fill clock, and you set it up like this. You have a command block at the bottom, space in between, and then another command block above. The commands are this and this. The important thing is that redstone block is at the top. It doesn't really matter what you have here, but I recommend to use a full block that is not transparent to prevent shadow updates from happening or even light updates depending on where you build your fill clock. When you're done with that, you can just put a redstone block here and now you have a running fill clock. Before you can continue, you have to do two more things. The first thing you have to do is add a new scoreboard objective, and you do it like this, and I'm going to call it test 4, and the criteria is going to be a dummy. You will also need another entity to store some scoreboard data in, and I'm going to summon a wither skull here, and it's going to have a custom name data, and I'm giving it a special UUID, so I know that on this, when I look on the scoreboard, that it's the data wither skull. So now let's summon it, and now it's sitting here. After that's done, you can continue on. First thing you need to do is you need to scoreboard players set at E, type equals wither skull, name equals data, and test for 0, and let's do it only if score test for min equals 1. And you'll need one more command block with the command execute at E scoreboard players add at E, and the type equals wither skull, name equals data, test for 1. So now it's gonna execute at every entity, add 1 to test 4. So since there are 2 entities, it's gonna add 2. And if I do scoreboard objectives at this sidebar, test 4, you can see 2 entities. If I throw an item on the ground, 3 entities or 5. And the good thing about it is that you can go higher than 15. So you have no limitation there. This fill clock here is called a continuous fill clock, which means it's going to run forever unless you stop it like this. Over here though, it's only gonna update if you press the button. If you want that to happen with this system here as well, you just have to replace this with redstone block, and over here with wool 15. And now you can just put a button here and press it. The button's gonna disappear because it's gonna set a redstone block and then it pops off. So now it updates only when you press the button. If I throw another redstone on the ground, 3 and 4. These sort of fills are called discontinuous fills, which means they won't continue. Which means that it only happens once you give it a signal. I have another one of those here because there's another way how you can test for entities. It will require one more command block and it's a little bit more complicated, but yeah, I'm going to show it to you anyways. The first command is going to be stats, then entity, because we are targeting entities, or an entity, and that entity is going to be the wither skull with the name equals data, and we're going to set it to affected entities, and we're going to store it in the offline player entities in the objective test 4. Next command block is execute at the wither skull, and then run the command test 4 at E. And then last command block is just going to clear the affected entities, so it won't track it anymore. This here is going to tell the game that it should check every command executed from this wither skull over here and check for the affected entities and get the amount of affected entities and store it in the offline player entities in this global objective test 4. Over here is the actual execute command, and it's just testing for every entity, and this one is clearing it so it won't track it anymore. Now when we press the button, it should track the entities, although you don't see it on the sidebar because you have to manually set it to a score for it to display. I don't know why that happens, but I don't know if it's a bug, but it just happens like that. So you have to scoreboard player set entities, which is the offline player, and then test for 0. Now you can see it on the sidebar, and if you do this, now you see it's 2, because there's one with the skull here and I'm here. And if I throw another item on the ground, do it again, now it's 3, and now it's 4. That's it. I hope you find this information useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.